Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much once again. I'd like to welcome you to our continued series on audio lectures in regard to law and what pertains to legal subjects. My name's Steve Cornelius, and it is with great pleasure and privilege from Lacy Information to welcome you to such courses, because we believe without the shadow of doubt that you'll be in a position not only to understand that which pertains to law and various issues that pertain to your legal studies, but also you shall grasp the principles and the tenets that pertains to these various decrees. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at tax law. Now, many issues and many proponents have come up over centuries in regard to who should be taxed and why should tax be paid, and by whom does tax refer to. In the book of Matthew chapter 22, in verses 15 to 22, I read, "Then the Pharisees went out and laid plans to trap him in his words. They sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians. 'Teacher,' they said, 'we know you are a man of integrity, and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. You aren't swayed by men, because you pay your attention to who they are. Tell us then, what is your opinion? Is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not?' But Jesus, knowing their evil intent, said, 'You hypocrites, why are you trying to trap me? Show me the coin used to paying the tax.' They brought him a denarius, and he asked them, 'Whose portrait is this? And whose inscription?' 'Caesar's,' they replied. Then he said to them, 'Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's.'" Ladies and gentlemen, this is a simple description of who and why should we pay taxes. Jesus breaks it down. They gave to Caesar what is Caesar's, and gave to God what is God's. Can this be looked at as the inception or the paying of tax as far as the biblical understanding is concerned? The answer is neither yes or no. Why? Because taxes have continually been paid from time immemorial. For various purposes and for various functions, various communities, even in Africa, used to give some token to the leading councils and also to the community in form of payment for the services offered or rendered. To tax and to please is not given to men. These are not my words. These are the words of one Edmund Burke. Whose interests does the law reflect when it comes to tax? One of the objectives of the law is equality, but is it possible? Ladies and gentlemen, as a matter of introduction to the law of tax, we're going to look at various issues pertaining to tax law. In our first lecture, we shall look at the introduction to the law of tax, in which we shall look at the principles of taxation, the tax structure. It shall usher us to lecture number 2, where we shall examine the sources of tax law in Kenyan jurisdiction. In chapter 3, or lecture number 3, we're going to look at income tax, an overview, and also in this particular lecture, we're going to look at the international aspects in regard to income tax. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we shall revisit the income from employment. Most often than not, a source of tax which the government does apply results or comes out of employment. And this is the reason why we shall give a lot of due time as far as this particular subtopic is concerned.